Hi guys, so I'm here with yet another edition of Thoda reading Karona. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Ramendra Kumar, a children's writer and storyteller. I've written 37 books, and what I love writing the most is sports stories. Now, you must be wondering why. The reason is simple. I've played all kinds of sports as a kid, but if you think that I was good, you are completely mistaken. I was terrible in almost every game I played, but I loved playing and now I love writing. So, like I was telling you, I love writing stories about sports, and I've written more than 30 stories and 5 books. The first book was Now or Never, it's about boxing. The Indian Masai, about athletics. Against all odds, about the most beautiful game, yes, football. And finally, The Siege of Cricket. Obviously, it's about cricket, the religion in India. But today I'm going to tell you about a book, read out from a book which is a bit different. It's a picture book. It's called A Perfect Match. It's been written by me, and the super fantastic illustrations are by Nilofer Wadia. So let me start reading without wasting any more time. The jalebis are the best, Dadaji said, his whiskers bristling. No way, they are no match for my halwas, Dadiji replied, her nose twitching like an inquisitive rabbit's. That's what you think, Dadaji said, his voice rising a notch or two. That's what I know, Dadiji declared, striking a combative pose. Isn't that really cute? Okay, then let's have a match. That is, if you and your halwas are not scared. Dadaji dared. Of course I'm not. You decide the date and time, and my halwas will be there to take on your jalebis. Great. Then let us have the match on the coming Sunday at 4 p.m., said Dadaji. Done. I'll tell the halwas, the would-be winners, and you can inform the jalebis, the soon-to-be quitters. Dadiji said, and before her husband could think of a suitable retort, disappeared from the room. Dadaji was a tall, well-built man who carried his 65 years rather well. He had retired as a manager from a leading bank. Dadiji was of medium height, thin, but with the energy of a beehive. She had been a school principal most of her life and treated everyone like an errant student. The two of them lived with their grandchildren, Sakshi and Saket. The kids played hockey in their campus regularly. An abandoned park had been divided into 2 fields, one for the boys, Dadiji's halwas, and the other for the girls, Dadaji's jalebis. Dadaji was a diabetic and kept fantasizing about sweets, which he was forbidden to eat. He had named the teams after his favorite dishes, and the names had become an instant hit. Every evening, Dadaji and Dadiji watched their respective teams practice. The two acted as the mentors as well as the cheerleaders. What? A match with the jalebis? Exclaimed Narendra, the skipper of the halwas. We can't play with a bunch of girls. We'll be called sissies for the rest of our lives, added Rajesh, the goalkeeper. Come on, Dadiji, how do you expect us to play with females? They're all so snooty, declared Joe, the left back. You rascal, don't forget, I'm a female too. And don't you dare call me snooty, Dadiji said, pulling Joe's rather large left ear. But Dadi, you're not a female. You're Dadi dear, Saket said, putting his arms around her neck and giving her a peck. Dadiji smiled a radiant smile and then quickly rearranging her features said, so the halwas are scared of a bunch of snooty and stuck-up girls, is it? You feel they are going to make actual halwa out of you? Of course not, the boys chorused. We can play them anytime, anywhere, Narendra said. Bring them on, Dadi, Rajesh said, flexing his non-existent muscles. Did I hear you right, Dadaji? You want us to play with the halwas? Geetika, the vice captain of the jalebis, asked, her hands on her hips. Yes, my dear, you heard right. Dadaji, how can you even dream that we would agree to play with those ill-mannered louts? Asked Rehana, whose twin brother Roshan was a part of the Halwas. We've got far better things to do than to test our superior talent with the inferior ability of those unruly ruffians, Sakshi declared. That means my brave jalebis are afraid that the halwas would beat them to pulp. Ha! Come on, Dadaji, the jalebi is afraid of boys. We can crush them effortlessly. What do you say, girls? Sara the captain shouted, looking around for support. With a medley of shouts and yells, the girls got into a huddle while Dadaji smiled smugly behind his thick whiskers. The stage was set for the epic battle between the halwas and the jalebis. Dadaji used to go for a walk in the park every morning with more than a dozen of his friends. Dadaji had attended dance classes where she had learned contemporary dance with 20 others. The two mentors had invited their friends and dance mates to cheer their teams. Besides, the parents and some of the teachers were also in attendance to watch this clash of the titans. Even the peanut vendor and the ice cream seller who sold their wares in the market had shifted to the venue of the mother of all matches. The whistle blew and the game began. From the word go, the jalebis attacked with fury while the halwas defended ably. 10 minutes later, the tables turned and the seesaw battle continued. There was no goal in the first half, none in the second half either. Extra time followed. As the match progressed, the supporters from both sides cheered, shouted, and sometimes jeered. Dadiji, looking natty in a pink salwar, almost lost her voice through the match. Dadaji, on the other hand, kept plucking the hair from his whiskers in sheer tension, and, but for the dirty looks Dadiji gave him, would have probably had a hairless upper lip by the time the match ended. On a couple of occasions, the language used by Dadiji made her husband's cheeks turn the color of her salwar. The spectators took a break from watching the pulsating match to stare at Dadaji and Dadiji, who seemed to be in their element. In the 9th minute of extra time, Sara, the sharpest forward in the team, blocked a pass from Jyoti, the defender, dribbled past 3 boys and slammed the ball into the goal. Dadaji jumped in the air and planted a sloppy kiss on Dadiji's cheek, making her blush and almost making her forget the tragedy that had struck the halwas. However, the halwas got back into the game with a vengeance. Joe passed the ball to Saki, who raced down the right flank and flicked it to Narendra. The captain saw Shailaja, the goalkeeper, rushing towards him. He simply dodged her and gently tapped the ball into the goal. Dadiji did a combination of samba, disco and breakdance, much to the delight of the spectators. And this is my favorite illustration from the book. Soon the excitement had reached a feverish pitch. With just a minute to go, both teams were going all out to score. The ball was with Rehana, and as she passed the ball to Geetika, a dark shape suddenly streaked across the field. It was Tufan, Sakshi and Saket's pet dog. He was short and sturdy and was the fastest thing on 4 legs in the vicinity. He loved playing ball but for the last week he had been denied any access to it. Every time he tried going near it, either Sakshi or Saket had hurled instructions to the contrary. He had been waiting in the wings patiently, looking over so longingly at the white, round piece of fun. Now suddenly it was within reach, and he made a dash for it, grabbed it in his mouth, and disappeared into the bushes around the hockey field. He kept moving, crossing the adjoining park where Dadaji walked, the place where Dadaji danced, and straight to the spot where he knew his best friend Andhi would be waiting for him. Meanwhile, the halwas and jalebis dropped their hockey sticks and ran after Tufan. They looked for him in the bushes, behind trees, under benches, inside dustbins, between legs, and everywhere else they could. Rehana and Roshan, Jyoti and Narendra, Shailaja and Joe formed impromptu teams and searched every nook and corner. Sakshi and Sakib yelled themselves hoarse, shouting, screaming, cursing, coaxing, and cajoling. Tufan to come out in the open. Finally, they gave up. Does anyone have a spare ball? Asked Dadaji. Everyone shook their heads. Now the important question remained. Who was the winner? It's a tie, declared Dadiji. I think both the halwas and jalebis have played exceptionally well and they both deserve to win, nodded Dadaji. I'm going to present each player with a t-shirt, he declared, and I'm going to host a feast for them. We can have a picnic tomorrow on this very ground, added Dadiji. The announcements were greeted with hoots and yells. Forgetting their animosity and rivalry, the halwas and jalebis indulged in high fives. But Dadaji, if both the teams are winners, who is the man of the match? We do not have a man of the match, but we do have a champ of the match, and he's none other than the canine, Tufan. He gets my vote for providing a perfect ending to a perfect match, Dadaji said, and everyone laughed. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this little story about hockey and the perfect match. Thank you.